Hi guys, welcome to the Weekly Market Wrap. I'm Brent Stafford, filling in for Hannah Bernard, and this is what mattered to us this week. Equities is up first. Let's take a look at the U.S. stock market, which ended on a positive note for most of the week. The tech-centered NASDAQ index moving up 0.7%, which was buoyed by better than expected performances by Apple and Facebook. Sadly, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones didn't have as good of a performance as they ended up flat after closing on record valuations on Monday. We can report some big news this week as a civil suit was filed against Stephen A. Cohen, founder and owner of SAC Capital Advisors, for failing reasonably to supervise two of his senior employees who engaged in insider trading under his watch. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, there is also a 5-count criminal indictment against Mr. Cohen filed by the U.S. Attorney from New York. Although SAC Capital recently issued a statement distancing their brand from high-level employees that have already pleaded guilty to charges. But the question still remains whether the company will fall apart or if they can salvage a very ugly situation. Enough from equities, let's take a look at currencies. Currency action continued their month-long trend. For much of July, the U.S. dollar index has been under bearish pressure, which has helped fuel a small price recovery in the commodity sector. The most recent trade shows that the greenback is losing momentum and further volatility could be likely, so look out for that. The dollar-yen pair moved in and out of the 100 level, although Thursday's session did see a drop down to 99.2. Some profit taken in the Japanese market, as well as a weaker dollar, may continue to push the dollar-yen lower. Finally, many European countries reported positive growth, thus driving the euro higher to 132. It's likely that we will see even more strength as the dollar continues to slide, although the long-term trend is questionable. Now over to our picks for the week, winners and losers. The winner for this week is Facebook, ticker symbol FB, quite fitting. Facebook jumped nearly 30% from the prior session based on CEO Mark Zuckerberg's bet on mobile software paying off massively, with sales of ads on wireless devices now on track to surpass revenue from desktop computers. Several analysts are now upgrading their forecast for Facebook, and it appears likely that the shares will eventually trade hands at a higher valuation than its IPO. Technically, Facebook shares are extremely overheated, and despite the enthusiasm, we may see a pullback, followed by a consolidation range before moving higher from here. Well, there's always a loser, and this week it happens to be Sequinome, ticker symbol SQNM. Shares of the medical diagnostic testing company took a 30% hit as a loss of $31 million from cash collection problems due to changes in Medicare sent shareholders ducking for cover. Forward-looking investors may want to consider this drop in valuation as a buying opportunity because much of the bearishness was driven by a one-time administrative issue. However, medical companies have been under fire all year, so investors need to keep a close eye on their stops. And last but not least, over to precious metals. Gold has been one of the strongest assets this week, a bit of a change from the last few updates as it cleared both the 1300 and 1330 levels, which we know as two key technical support lines. Momentum is also reversed, and in the wake of weakness for the US dollar, things are finally looking good for the yellow metal. Silver has also had a strong performance, clearing past the key psychological barrier of $20 per troy ounce, although the trading was much more choppy than gold's, so keep an eye out for that. Finally, palladium had a more subdued week as it failed to move above a declining trend channel. Some of the cyclical names from the auto manufacturing sector took a slight breather, thus failing to push palladium higher. However, looking at a longer-term horizon, palladium is leading the precious metals complex and should continue to do well for the remainder of this year. And that wraps it up. Once again, thank you so much for your continued support of the Weekly Market Wrap-Up. We very much appreciate your viewing. Before you leave us, please make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like to ask some questions, you can always contact Hannah Bernard at hannah@viralnetworkinc.com. For Hannah and VNN, I'm Brent Stafford. Have a good weekend.